On the left, we see a very different Charlemagne, the large open eyes staring straight ahead, unblinking, all-seeing, the perfect symmetry of the face, and not least the long, healthy, absolutely virile mane of hair. This simply shows Charlemagne with the idealized attributes of the ideal ruler. None of these images then show Charlemagne as he was. All of them show him as people thought a great ruler should look like. And that was as true for Albert Dürer in the 16th century as it was for Adhemar of Chabannes in the 11th century. Not even Charlemagne's seal shows what he actually looked like, even though it bears his name. For the seal was based on an antique gem, in this case probably of Antoninus Pius, showing a Roman emperor as philosopher. That's why there's the beard. Philosophers had beards in Roman iconography. The best contemporary image of Charlemagne may be a silver denarius minted in his name in 813, but it's based on coins minted by the Roman emperor who was the model for all medieval emperors, Constantine the Great. So really, it's no more believable than any other image, though at least it shows one element that we know to be correct. Charlemagne did have a mustache. Our best contemporary information for what he looked like comes from his biographer, Einhard, who knew him well. Einhard says that Charlemagne was big and strong in body, but not more than seemed right, for his height was 7 times the length of his foot. I don't know either. The top of his head was round, his nose was a little longer than average, his eyes large and active, his hair a handsome gray color, his face lively and happy. His neck was thick and a bit short, and his belly stuck out a little, but this was balanced by the fine proportion of his other features. He carried himself with authority and dignity, whether he was standing or sitting. He possessed a firm, manly step and a voice that rang out, although it seemed a little higher pitched than you would expect from somebody of his stature. And he was blessed with perfect health until the last 4 years of his life, when he grew lame in one foot and was weakened by fevers, and his doctors told him that he had to lay off the roasts that he liked so much and stick to boiled meat, which is why he hated his doctors. But this is really of no more value than the images that we have of Charlemagne. The large, lively eyes are again the sign of an active, vigilant king. The clear voice and the manly step are the attributes of a king who has the bearing to command and be obeyed. The balanced proportions of Charlemagne's limbs are the outward sign of the inner virtue that a king needed to rule, moderation. So even Einhard's description of Charlemagne really doesn't count for much. All we really know, in fact, is this, that in the late 1980s, a group of German scientists and doctors removed Charlemagne's bones from the reliquary in which they'd been placed in the 13th century, and measuring them, they estimated his height at no more than 6 feet and his weight at 156 pounds. This is not the only matter in which Einhard cannot fully be trusted. For example, in a really well-known passage, at least if you're a medieval historian, Einhard writes that with respect to Charlemagne's imperial coronation in 800 by Pope Leo III, that Charlemagne was caught completely unawares by the Pope's action, and that he later stated that he would never have gone into St. Peter's if he had known in advance what the Pope planned. It's pretty much indisputable, in fact, that the coronation had been very carefully choreographed in advance, and that the details of the ceremony had been worked on for at least 6 months, and that the idea of some sort of imperial title had probably been developing since 790 or so. In another famous passage, Einhard tells us that Charlemagne could speak Latin and understood Greek, and that he was taught a variety... Can I do that? Aha. Einhard tells us that Charlemagne could speak Latin and understood Greek, and that he was taught in a variety of disciplines, including grammar. But he never learned to write very well, even though he kept writing tablets under his pillow so that he could practice when he woke up at night, which was frequently.